Hello everyone, welcome back to FairlyDeterminedFM with me. My name is Chris. Hope you're all doing well. It's a big day here at Arendal. Arendal. It's a big day here at Arendal. We've had the fixtures released, we've got some money in the bank, and we've got some players, including some from last season. Have a look at this. We've got, you'll recognise some names on there because some players have actually re-signed. I'm so happy because the scouting that I was doing last episode didn't really yield any good players. Statistically wise, they were good. But I think, as Simon pointed out in the comments, possibly because they were all amateur players, they were pretty rubbish. I guess the game must have flicked over into a different time period or something, because all of a sudden the players wanted to sign contracts. It was amazing. Not all of them. Some of them have gone, but some of them are still here. Let's have a look first at the players who have decided to stick around. Here's the squad. It's a big old squad. There's some new names on there. There's a fair few new names on there. We'll go through those in a minute. But in terms of the players who are sticking around, obviously Vergaard Stores sticking around. Killerick, we managed to get him back. Hovstad, Edvard Race sticking around as well. Mindseth, really happy about that. Tord Salt, very, very versatile, very, very good young player. Jonas Fredriksson, Mads Norby Madsen, Gedemini, he was already contracted. Magnus Norby Madsen, the brothers. We've also got Polana, Torp, Lil Lovo is in here. Lynn Christensen, weird thing with Lynn Christensen, I'll get to that in a minute. Remberge sticking around, Helm and Haberstad. So there's actually quite a lot of players from last season that in the end decided to stick around. Some of them took pay cuts, which is interesting. Some of them had small pay rises, but yeah, it's very, very good. I'm very happy that we've managed to keep hold of a lot of these players, especially players like Helm, Mindseth, Tord Salt. These are very good players for this club, for this level. And I think, if we're being realistic, we're up in a higher league now. There's a fair to good chance that we're going to get relegated. So having these players around on contracts to 2025, some of them, 2024 at least, a few of them, means that next season we've got a pretty good chance of, if we were to go down, we'd have a good base to build from there as well. So those are the players who are sticking around. I mentioned Lynn Christensen, right? He's out of contract, and I can't offer him a new contract at all. Not a single. I can't offer him a contract at all. But what's interesting is if we go over to staff and have a look at all, Lynn Christensen is also a director of the club, which I didn't know. So he's just on a month-to-month £600 a week rolling contract, which I assume just exists in perpetuity because he's a director of the club, so we're not going to, he's not going to be poached by anyone, which is fine. I don't really mind that. But what it does mean is that every now and then I get emails saying, Lynn Christensen's out of contract, you need to fix it. And I say, I can't, Football Manager. I just can't. So obviously with the players who had stuck around, that meant that filling these gaps became a little bit easier, and I was able to relax a little bit. I wasn't necessarily looking for very, very good first team players. I could just get some people in to fill gaps and maybe get some youth in to sort of bolster the ranks a little bit, which is kind of what I did. It made it a lot easier. Looking for 6 or 7 players, 6, 7, 8 players I think it was in the end, versus 22. Very, very different prospect. Let's have a quick look. Well, not a quick look. Let's take you through who we brought in. It still counts as last season's transfers, so ignore that. Ignoring Vergaard Stores and Gedemini, because we already know about them. We have brought in all of these players, which is actually 1, 2, 3 Stores again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's about 9 players. Mark Pabai is a right back. Dutch Liberian right back. He actually got scouted really early on in the season, but because we had Edvard Race, I didn't really need him at that point. But I stuck him on the shortlist, and then we looked like we weren't going to have Edvard Race. I thought, brilliant, we've got this right back here that's just been sat on the shortlist for months. Completely out of contract everywhere. Nobody wanted him. Don't quite know why, because he's really good. He's got very good pace and acceleration for this level. His mentals are pretty good. Actually, his mentals are really good for this level, I think. Teamwork and work rate, good. His tackling is good. His passing is good. He can cross. He can dribble. Good first touch. I think he's only 22 as well. So he was the first signing that I decided to make in the end, because it was free. Got him on a free. He's on £220 a week. Mark Babai. Vergaard Holscyther. Now he's one of the ones who is sort of a youth player. Again, we got him in on a free. I think we got him in on a free. He was out of contract or a free transfer somewhere. Can't remember. He's a young player. He's not quite the finished article yet, but he can play in a couple of positions. So again, gives us options if we need them. He's physically okay, his mentals are pretty good, and his technicals obviously need a bit of work. He's only 19. But yeah, he's if he reaches his potential, he could be a really good player. If he doesn't reach his potential, then he's going to be good enough to sort of slot in every now and then. He's going to get games for us for sure. Yeah, I just like the look of him. I think he's a decent enough player to come in and help us out when we need him. So welcome, Vergaard. Bjarne Langland, who is a very good player, I think. 29 years old, Norwegian. We got him from Bern in the Obos Ligaen. I think I'm saying that right. The league we're currently in. So he's got experience of the league that we're going to be playing in. But yeah, I mean, look at him. Physically, decent enough. He's not the fastest, not the strongest, but his mentals, I think, are really good. He's very aggressive, very brave, very composed, determined, and he's got a bit of a leadership thing about him as well, which I like. Corners, technically very good as well, so he can take corners, take some free kicks. His tackling is good. He's going to be that ball winner in that part of the pitch. Doesn't necessarily have the pace, but I'm not too worried about that because I think his sort of aggression, anticipation, and bravery are going to make up for that, and he's going to be getting in there and making some crucial tackles for us. Of course, if he misses those tackles, he's going to be too slow to catch them. But whatever, that doesn't matter. We'll deal with that at the time. Welcome, Bjarne Langland. Matthias Fredriksson. Now, Matthias Fredriksson is one of two players that I've nicked from the league below. He had the second highest number of assists, I think, in the league last season for Flekkerøy, so I thought, yeah, we'll have him. So I did. 23 appearances last year, 4 goals, 8 assists, 2 players in the match. He's very, very similar stats to Mindseth, actually, and he plays in the same position. So I picked him up as a rotational option with Mindseth, 28 years old, got him on a free. Again, physically good, mentally good, technically good. Yeah, I thought it made sense to just pilfer, go through the average rating list of the league that we've just left and pilfer the players that I wanted from there, which is what I did with Fredriksson. So, welcome, Fredriksson. He can also play, again, he can play in these other positions. So, rotational options too. Next up is Magnus Bacon. I'm going to go with Becken. Magnus Becken. Another young player, 21 years old. Decent enough current ability, potential ability is quite good. And he just looks like quite a well-rounded youngster. He's similar in a lot of ways to Sander Lillovo. I think they complement each other quite well. Lillovo's a little bit better on the defensive side, a little bit faster, a little bit more physical, very good in the air. Whereas Becken is, good attacking. He's got good vision on him. He's better technically. Not as fast. He's not as good in the air. But I think rotationally, the two of them, I think are going to be really good. So he was brought in to sort of switch in and out with Lillovo, so that Lillovo is not our sole attacking midfielder. So Sander Ringberg is the next up. He's another versatile player. He can play across all of the attacking line, which I really liked, and he can also play up front. 23 years old. He's not brilliant, I think. He's kind of averagely well-rounded, His technicals are okay, his mentals are okay, but his physicals are really good. He's very, very fast. I bought him to play on the left, rotating around with Lin Christensen, because Lin Christensen isn't really made out for this level. So I bought him to play there. But yeah, he can play in all of those positions, so he's going to get game time across the attacking three. Across that, attacking part of the pitch. Welcome, Sander Ringberg. Right, okay, here we go. Let's try and say this one. William Begelrud. Another youngster. He's one of the ones I bought to fill a gap as a rotational option. He can play in the centre of defence. He can play in the defensive midfield roles. I was really impressed with his physicals. I was really impressed with his mentals, and then the technicals that we give a crap about for these positions, marking and tackling, are good enough. So yeah, I think he's going to be, slotting in. He's going to be getting some game time, and he's young. He offers a bit of a resale value. If any of our players had resale value, I think he would have it. So welcome, William Begelrud. So Matthias Fredriksson was one of the players that I decided to buy because of their performance last season. Ostenson is the other. He played for Stahl, and he got the same goal scoring record as Helm. 17 goals, 24 games. It just made sense. It just made sense to buy him. He's physically very, very good. Mentally, okay, I guess. His off-the-ball movement is really good, which is probably why he got a bunch of goals, and his finishing is decent enough. So, yeah, I think he's going to score goals for us. So we've got another very good striker. We've got 3 very good strikers now in Habestad, Helm, and Ostenson. So last player signed in the last couple of days was Lorenzo Bertini. Got him on loan. It's another sort of young winger who I bought to sort of bolster the ranks over on that left-hand side. He's just pretty well-rounded, and for a 21-year-old, I think that's really good. He's also enormous. He's 6'4". So, yeah, it's going to be good seeing an enormous giant of a winger marauding down that left-hand side. So welcome, Lorenzo. So that means then that the squad looks like that. And if we go for whatever our assistant thinks the best 11 is, a lot of them are players that we've had here last season. Edvard Race, Killeric, Gedamini, Salt, Billovo, Helm, Stores in goal, but we've also got, Pabai on the right-hand side, Langeland in the middle, Bertini, Fredriksson out on the right, and then we've got, the subs bench to make use of as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty good season. The Oberligaen, we're currently top of it, having played no games. If we could stay like that would be great. We do have two of our fierce rivals in Jerv and Start in this league, which I'm quite excited about. Season preview, they think we're going to do okay. They've got us down in 11th. So obviously the two teams that came down from the Eliteserien, Jerv and Sarpsborg are tipped to go straight back up. But yeah, I'm quietly confident that we've not just not been marked down for relegation immediately. We had a bunch of money come in. We had £607,000 come in, which means it's given us an overall balance of 102,000, which is quite nice because we were massively over budget a lot of last season. Our wage budget has gone right down as well. We were spending sort of 18,000, I think, towards the end of last season, and now we're on 13,000, and that's with all the new players as well. So we've actually got a fair bit of wiggle room in the scouting budget, in the wage budget rather, and a fair bit of transfer budget to work with. I don't necessarily intend to spend any of it because I think I'm actually quite happy with the squad as it is. We've got a lot of rotational options. We've got a lot of depth everywhere. I'm not necessarily going to spend that money. So whether that's a stupid thing to do or not, I just don't want to overload the squad, with players that I'm not actually going to play. I've already got enough important players who aren't actually going to get a lot of game time. So I don't want to overdo that. Schedule-wise, I've booked a bunch of friendlies. Like the league system, I don't know if this is the timing of the league system. I haven't quite gotten used to yet in Norway. So the season starts in April and ends in November. So from middle of November through to April, you've got an enormous break. So that's December, January, February, and March. Just empty. It's 4 months. The players are off from all of December and they come back early January. So they got a month and a half off, and then you got sort of 2 months before the football season starts. So I've just loaded up friendlies. Now, because they're part-time, I'm not going to give them 2 friendlies a week because I think it's ridiculous. So I've just done 9 friendlies, all on a Saturday, all at home. It's going to get us about £30,000. It's fine. So I'm going to smash through all these friendlies, and then we're going to start. The next episode is going to be Skeid Football and Ranheim kicking off our Oberligaen season. So that's going to be next episode. Thank you very much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments of the new signings. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you very, very soon for another episode. Cheers. All the best. Bye.